Wrap it up before your birds play.
Yeah. How did I kill a pool goose this weekend? Stay tuned.
Whoa.
What's up? Hey, everybody. Welcome to Finding the Geek Spot on episode 69.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Dom,
easier then.
You can just shut your hole, Dom, because we don't have none of that negative Eagles talk in this chat. I'll accept negative Flyers talk because they suck. Speaking of negative Flyers, there's Dylan. Calgary Flames fan. He's a Calgary Flames fan. That's why I said that.
Yeah. Wow.
Hey,
Did the Giants actually win? Did the Giants play this week?
No, I think they did. I think they're actually the whole division's actually not bad right now.
Well, we'll see. We still have a few hours to know if the whole division's not bad.
Well, we got a really tough game tonight. The Vikings aren't no pushover. And then don't forget, Jalen Reagor wants revenge on the Eagles for drafting him in the first round and for giving him every opportunity to be a good football player and him sucking. So now he wants revenge for being traded.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, the weather sucks in Minneapolis, so.
They play in a dome, don't they?
But you still have to live there the other,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
All the other days of the week. So, yeah. So, hey, what have you been up to, man?
Well,
I heard there was some tragedy involved.
There was. It was the last pool day of the summer at my friend Matt's house. It's closing up the pool. We were supposed to have, according to the weather app, we were supposed to have a nice 89-degree day yesterday, and it was not. And the pool was a crisp 79 to 80 degrees in the water. It's a little on the chilly side.
It sounds a little chilly.
So the big goose came out that he got a couple weeks ago, and they spent a half an hour 2 or 3 weeks ago blowing it up with the little little thingy, little air pump thingy, and it was glorious. I should have taken a picture of the before. And this is a beautiful big goose. 2-3 people could fit on this boy, and Ange jumped on it. And was kind of like hanging half on, half off it, and was like all excited. And I decided that I could jump on it. And I jumped on the other wing. And then the goose died.
Oh,
too much.
Did it still float?
It does actually still float.
Well,
if you can see in the picture.
So it's important.
Yeah, it did still float, but there's a lot of speculation on Facebook when I made the post today about what happened. My friend Joe said, I have a guess, and lube is involved. Joe would be incorrect. There was no lube involved. It was just fat.
Yeah.
My other friend Larry said he tried to blow it and sat on it instead. Close. I jumped on it. Larry's also a Cowboys fan, so what he says doesn't matter.
That's fair.
Jimmy Maziak, who actually bought the goose from Matt, found out on Facebook that goose died. And, of course, Matt commented and said, this is why we can't have nice things. He's right.
Because Frank will jump on them.
I have a habit of jumping into the pool. And if something's in front of me...
That's too bad for it. I got it.
R.I.P. to the
Anything else? You all caught up on all our stuff we watched? You good to go?
I am all dragoned in. I'm She-Hulked up.
Are they on a Saturday morning lights yet? Did you get to that part of the show?
What? Part of what show?
To Saturday morning lights?
What?
No.
Oh. Ha! Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Still Friday night where you're at. Got it.
Yeah, I'm still on Friday nights.
All right,
I did
Barbarian.
nothing else fun this weekend. What about you?
I did a decent amount this weekend. I had a bunch of gigs, a whole lot of
Yeah.
gigs. I saw some movies last week. Watched a bunch of shows. I'm caught up on Rings of Power and She-Hulk and Big Brother, and nothing wrong with Big Brother. It's all
Ooh.
right. And I played a 1-year-old's birthday party Saturday.
You're around the corner, right?
Yeah, I was.
Kind of.
Yeah. Finley Rose turned a year old.
Oh, happy
So
birthday!
so that was cool. Neighborhoods I never knew existed in Northeast Philadelphia. I discovered.
Yeah.
No idea there was backyards and pools and like neighborhoods and stuff. No idea. So did all that. Yeah. Went and saw a movie during the week.
Did you? What movie?
I did. I saw Clerks 3.
Oh yeah, I was there.
You were there. We saw that. We'll talk about Clerks 3 in a little bit. I'll leave it up to the chat if you guys want to let us know how spoilery or non-spoilery, in case any of the rest of you saw it. You want us to go in on it. I'd like to not spoil it for anybody if we can avoid it.
Yeah.
But that was about it. You know, more just work and another gig I'm playing in downtown or Center City, Philly this weekend. I'm going to be at Con Murphy's.
Okay.
Which is an absolute blast. I love that place. So anybody that's around, feel free to pop out. It looks like, in the chat, Dylan did some stuff. He saw Barbarian and Pearl. 2 horror movies. Your favorite genre, Frank?
It is. I know Dylan's a huge horror fan, though.
He is. He
Yes.
is. I did not get to catch any of those this week. Like I said, it was a little bit hectic, but managed to cram some things in. As I told you, Rings of Power is a great show to sleep during.
You did.
It'll knock you right out anytime you try and watch it.
Definitely not helping my desire to start that show at all.
You want to be wide awake when you watch it.
All right, so I'm never seeing this show then, is what you're saying.
Harley Quinn also had its big finale. The show was fantastic.
Yes.
So they have Diedrich Bader's back as Batman this season.
Okay.
And plays a big role, and they do a lot of work with Batman's, backstory and mind. A couple episodes ago, Harley Quinn and the crew end up having to go into Batman's mind to figure out where he hid their one buddy, Frank the Machine, or the plant.
That was my nickname once upon a time.
Frank the Machine.
The Machine, yeah. Dom, it's on my list.
Yeah. It's once he gets to Sunday morning brunch, then he'll be able to move on to Avatar: The Last Airbender. But see, so the coolest thing they did with this is when they went into the mind, the episode was them going, and he has like his mind's locked out where all he sees in his entire mind is the night his parents got shot.
Ooh.
And he's 8 years old still in his mind. So every sub, like you see it, and like they go and they turn another alleyway, and it's just his parents getting shot again. And then they're like, oh, well, let's try this way. And it's just his parents getting shot. And that's all that's in his mind. And so, they play through that. And then Harley Quinn plays the role of psychiatrist like she is.
Right.
As Harleen. And goes through and breaks through to Bruce and like knows his secret and stuff. And then they kind of continue to solidify. She's transitioning from the bad girl to the anti-hero on the show as well. But yeah, it's super fun still. The Poison Ivy in her relationship is great. They've already said they're never going to break that relationship up. So it's you also got the Clayface by Alan Tudyk is masquerading as Billy Bob Thornton most of the season. Okay. In a movie about Thomas Wayne. So you get Alan Tudyk pretending to be Billy Bob Thornton as Clayface.
That's kind of weird, but interesting.
Well, if you ever watch it, once you're caught up on Avatar.
Yes. It's coming.
It's definitely worth it, and continues to be the best way to see Harley Quinn.
Right.
Is animated.
Until we get to Lady Gaga.
Nope. Will still be the best way to see her. Will still be animated.
Until Margot Robbie does another movie where she's Daddy's little thumper or whatever she is.
Daddy's little monster.
Yep.
You can't play the character crazy enough in live action. You just
No,
can't.
I agree. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of characters that should just be stuck to animated for reasons like that.
Yeah, and as a character created not even in the comics when they try and ground some things and stuff like that, she was specifically created for the animated series. So,
Right.
And then they started writing her in the comics because she got so popular.
Of course. Okay. I'm gonna start in a weird spot.
Okay.
This is a different spot. It's not exactly your wheelhouse. Wrestling.
I've heard of it.
Just a tiny little wrestling tidbit. There might be one or two people that still watch wrestling, and I've started to pay attention a little bit more recently since Vince McMahon was thrown out on his ass from the company.
Oh, I thought he stepped down.
Oh yeah, sure, he stepped down. And Paul Levesque is now running basically the whole thing. He's all the creative. That would be Triple H to you people that are not into wrestling. They're bringing back a super popular. In 1987 in WCW, Dusty Rhodes created what was called the War Games. The War Games puts a steel cage over two rings.
Okay.
And it's a big wrestling event for factions. And when WWE bought WCW, they brought the War Games back and they made it really awfully corny, and it was like the Raw brand versus the SmackDown brand.
Got it.
Two separate shows. They're doing away with that. They're bringing War Games back, but they're going to do away with the Raw versus SmackDown part of it. They're going to have two War Games matches, and one will probably be male and one will be female. But they're going to actually build stories up to make there a reason for this big match.
Okay.
So I just thought that was pretty interesting because he's continuing to really change a lot of the stuff that as Vince got older, Vince kind of started doing really, really dumb shit as far as the TV product went, not in his personal life. And he's starting to bring back wrestlers that they shouldn't have released and repackaging them and changing the culture and the way things go on. And it's actually become a more interesting show where the product is getting better.
Okay.
And Dylan's right. And there was a whole thing in AEW that maybe one day we'll sit and talk about all of the CM Punk and the Young Bucks and all that stuff that went on. There's a whole shitload of drama.
Got it.
Over there that would take an entire show to go through.
With all that, because
Yes.
I watch wrestling like you watch Rings of Power.
Right.
So,
That's pretty good.
So
Pretty good.
Where are we at with the McMahon family? Are they still around? Is Shane
Yes.
still around? He's in
So
a video game I got. So
Shane was fired after I think it was it Royal? It was the Royal Rumble last year. He got fired after that for some backstage stuff.
Got it.
He like jumped the line and went in a spot where he wasn't supposed to, and there's a whole bunch of shit with him. Stephanie is actually the co-CEO of the company now. She was made interim CEO when all of these allegations that started cropping up around Vince came up, and then her and I forget the guy's, Nick Khan is his name, not to be confused with Tony Khan that owns and runs AEW, no relation. But Nick Khan and Stephanie McMahon are the two people that are like the CEOs of WWE, while Stephanie's husband runs the creative of WWE. And her husband's super best friend is also back, Shawn Michaels, running the NXT version of the show and the developmental part of WWE. They're actually really good at their jobs.
That's Shawn Michaels from the Rockers, correct?
That is Shawn Michaels from the Rockers. Okay. Yes, not the meth addict Marty Jannetty from the Rockers.
Right?
Was it just cocaine? Whatever.
Right. They had good times.
They had some really good times and some great outfits.
They did.
Absolutely did. So yeah, no, I just thought we don't talk wrestling ever. or
We
very
don't.
rarely. We did a little bit on the other show sometimes.
But I'm happy to let you talk
I
wrestling.
I understand. There's another new horror movie that I just saw.
I would assume it's on Dylan's list.
I wonder if the Spin the Bottle horror movie is on Dylan's list.
Oh, wait, no. The cast is amazing for this, isn't it?
I haven't got. I don't think I have the whole cast. Let me see if I have the whole cast.
I feel like I heard about this one.
Spin the Bottle movie cast will include Black Lightning alum Christopher Emmanuel. I'm not sure who he is. Ray Whitney, Angela Halili, Legion vet Samantha Cormier, Bleach star Hal Cumpston, and Tony Amendola. Also Justin Long and Ali Lartner.
Yeah. Look, there's a lot of great names in there. Hal Cumpston was on
Bleached or Bleached?
well, maybe, but he was also on World Beyond, Walking Dead.
Okay.
And
Another show
great.
I've seen. Right.
Yeah, you're so good at the Walking Dead stuff. Cherry Hill's own Ali Larter on that list, by the way.
I haven't seen her in anything since Heroes.
Wow. I don't know that she's done much since Heroes. I believe she had some kids, and she stopped doing things.
No more whipped cream bikinis for her, huh?
No. But everybody is a fan of Varsity Blues. She was on The Rookie for a while.
Oh, really?
And in some show Pitch, which I believe was on the CW. And she's done some shows, but not a lot since Heroes. It's a pretty late list since Heroes. Oh, look, and Justin Long was in Barbarian.
Okay. Oh, yeah, look at that. She was in some stuff.
Yeah, and she wasn't. Well, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back was a few years before Heroes, though. She was in there coming off Varsity Blues.
That was 2001. And
it was with Shannon Elizabeth and Jen Schwalbach.
Yes, she was. She was part of the Diamond Robbers, Diamond Thieves.
Well, yeah, she was helping run the clit.
Yes, she was. I have a joke in there somewhere.
You do. I was trying, but it's okay.
The story of a group of teenagers in a small town in Texas who unleash a deadly force after playing the famous game in an abandoned house where a grisly massacre once took place.
It sounds fantastic.
That sounds fantastic. Thank you. Yes, Pete. She was in. Oh yeah, you already mentioned that. Okay, so yeah, this looks like it's got a pretty good cast, and Tony Amendola, I really like him. He was he's been in a lot.
The wide receiver for the New England Patriots?
Not that one, no. And
but that was Danny Amendola.
That was Danny Amendola. Yes. Tony Amendola he's been in a lot of stuff. He's actually in Jedi Fallen Order video game. He plays Eno Cordova.
Okay.
If that rings a bell, he was in Once Upon a Time as Marco and Geppetto.
I remember him as Geppetto.
Okay. And
Once Upon a Time.
First saw him in Stargate.
Okay.
He was in.
That is all streaming somewhere now, by the way. I saw
Stargate
that.
is?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so if
don't
you'd like
tell
to
me
add
that
to your list.
Don't tell me that. I'll go back and watch it.
I'm sure you will.
It was on.
It's been a little while for you.
Yeah. It some of those early episodes are rough to get through.
Yeah, that's when I watched it. When I was like, "Why is this on Showtime and only 22 minutes long?"
Right.
Or 44 minutes long, because everything else was an hour. And then I realized it's because they were going to put it on TV.
Yes. Did you ever sidetrack? Did you ever see the one where they were stuck in the time loop? Did you ever get that far into the show?
No, I made it through like half of the first season.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it gets way, way, way better
Sure.
when they stop taking themselves so seriously and they kind of lean into the goofiness of it a little bit.
I mean, every show needs a time loop episode.
It's a great, great, great episode. Like
none of them have ever been the same.
No, this one's a little different with when Jack O'Neill and Teal'c used the Stargate to play golf and hit golf balls through the Stargate. And
well, that
and
sounds
then
like something Kurt Russell and James Spader would have done in
oh,
in
absolutely.
the good version.
Oh yeah, totally. Um, there is a new Karate Kid movie confirmed.
Yeah,
So
I saw what the guys from Cobra Kai had to say about it.
yeah, they said this has nothing to do with us, right?
Yeah, he was like, I wish them the best of luck, but it has nothing to do with the characters from Cobra Kai. So it's a direct spin-off though to Karate Kid. So
Right.
I don't know where that's going to go.
I don't know. I did see one little rumor about Hilary Swank. Right?
They've reached out to her a bunch of times.
They've reached out to her and she won't comment on anything. And there's a hot rumor of who she could possibly be playing right now. And we've already seen part of her in the episodes over the last couple of seasons.
Who do we think she's
Tori's
playing?
mom.
Oh, could be.
That would be an interesting way to bring her in. And yes, Dom, I do actually hope that they make a trilogy where William Zabka is indeed the hero as he should be.
Yeah, look, maybe they recast it and just make it a direct spin-off to Karate Kid 3 from back then.
Oof.
But I think all we've learned is that nothing happened except for Daniel turned into a whiny little brat.
And got rich selling cars.
By still banking on the fact that everybody in the Valley remembered the karate championship from 40 years earlier.
Yes, which they apparently still do. And they apparently still revere him in the karate circles in
I mean, luckily there's only like 60 kids in the entire Valley.
Right.
Because that's all we're concerned about. I mean, that's not even like 2 classrooms worth of kids at one of these schools in the Valley.
Yes.
But that's going to make or break the entire Valley.
As Charles points out, and I was actually going to bring it up a story or two later that I'm going to bump up now. Quantum Leap returns tonight.
It's good. Are you adding this to your list?
Actually, I do want to see this. Dom, if that's true, I'll never watch it. I'll never watch it. I'll watch Karate Kid 3 over again before I watch that.
What if Jackie Chan makes a special appearance in it too, though?
There's no way that's going to happen.
I mean, what if they bring Jackie Chan into Cobra Kai as Mr. Miyagi's long-lost brother?
Nope.
I mean, it wouldn't be right for him to play somebody from Okinawa, though. I don't think he can do that now.
No, I don't think. I don't know if they. No. Excuse me. So Quantum Leap. I'll take a Three Ninjas remake. Quantum Leap starts tonight, and as I had read earlier, they actually did reach out to Scott Bakula for the pilot, and he's just like, nah. So Scott Bakula has nothing to do with this at all.
He's got all the money he needs.
He does.
I mean, he was also the lead on that NCIS New Orleans for like 10 years.
That he was a Star Trek captain for a number of years. Not to mention the older shows that he's done.
Not to mention, what's the movie I'm thinking of?
The one where there's a movie he was in too.
Where's the quarterback?
Oh, Necessary Roughness.
There it is with Sinbad and Kathy.
Oh my
Ireland.
God, that's a movie that I can watch any time of the day at all. If it's on, like Goodfellas, I'm done for the next hour. Kathy Ireland is the kicker.
That's what I'm saying. It's great.
It's phenomenal, and Robert Loggia as the old cranky ass coach.
Yeah.
Don't throw it to stone hands.
Hector Elizondo was in it too, wasn't he? Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, he was the dean.
Yeah.
God, it's such a great cast. Holy shit. I want to see that now.
All right.
Well, there goes Lord of the Rings this week.
Yeah.
So the original Quantum Leap focused primarily on Sam's leaps through time, receiving regular support from the hologram of his best friend Al. The 2022 revival has much more of a focus on the people on the other side of the Quantum Leap accelerator as they attempt to help the new Quantum Leaper, Ben Song, in his time travels. So the larger, more diverse cast than there was in the original. So Raymond Lee is going to play Dr. Ben Song.
Okay.
Um,
So,
Caitlin,
so help me with this, because I vaguely
uh-huh.
remember the original. I watched a few episodes here and there, but it was
I
never.
wasn't. My dad was more into it than I was. Um,
Maybe someone in the chat can help us out with this. So
I,
is it that he has to go? Does something get messed up in history and he has to go fix it, or is
I,
he making the history books happen?
I don't. Yeah, I'll have to look it up.
Like, is it just a non-superhero Legends of Tomorrow, basically, where he goes and he inhabits somebody and he makes them have to make the decision that's in the history books?
Let's see. Let's look at the synopsis of Quantum Leap. During a government experiment into time travel, a scientist finds himself trapped in the past, leaping into the bodies of different people on a regular basis and sorting out their problems whilst trying to get back home to his own time. And ran from 89 to 93.
Okay. The glimpses I remember of it seemed to always be like, it wasn't JFK, but it was like JFK's
right
third
brother's
Secret
friend.
Service agent.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, but stuff like that. So, all right. So maybe they just have to do their own thing. Seems weird, but okay.
This is
it won't be huge.
Well, following in the quantum footsteps of Dr. Sam Beckett is Dr. Ben Song, who steps into the Quantum Leap Accelerator 30 years after Sam disappeared. So it is a continuation. I wonder how they're going to reference that and whatnot, because I believe the ending of Quantum Leap, he turned out to he jumped into Al's body or something, his friend, or I don't remember.
Ziggy?
No, I don't think they ever showed Ziggy.
Mm.
Ziggy was a computer.
Oh.
I think. Let's see. We got Caitlin Bassett as Addison Augustin.
Okay.
She will be the Dean Stockwell of the series.
Got it. I thought he was Ziggy. Was he? He was Al?
He was Al.
Got it.
Ernie Hudson as Herbert Magic Williams.
I don't like him being involved in anything. He has too many other things he needs to do.
He needs to go back and do Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and an Oz remake.
Yes. That's fine.
I don't know if you could make Oz today now that I think about it, though.
The character was originally played by Christopher Kirby in the original Quantum Leap Season 3, Episode 2, The Leap Home Part 2, Vietnam. Williams was a soldier serving in Vietnam alongside Sam Beckett's brother Tom. He was called Magic Williams because of his cheating of death.
Oh, that's fancy.
Okay. And we have Mason Alexander Park as Ian Wright. He's the project's lead programmer, tasked with rebuilding Ziggy.
Cool.
Right?
Maybe I'll check it out. I've been paring down my network TV because there's so much streaming stuff to get caught up on.
Me too.
Yeah, I know. Like, I'm really itching to start Yellow Jackets. I just need to get some other stuff caught up before I dig in on that. Because I went with the Showtime Paramount Plus combo. So like, there's some Showtime stuff that I need to watch too that I've been putting off.
Gotcha.
Before I get there. So yeah, it's we'll see. Maybe we'll give it a shot. I'll watch an episode and see where it's at.
I'll peek an episode or two, and I'll probably get hooked on that before Lord of the Rings, most likely.
Probably.
That's about how it goes.
Not spoilery if anybody wants to know for Rings of Power, if you're watching or not watching. It's starting to move along. We're starting to see some progression in the storyline. So we're getting an idea where it's headed. It is like a Tolkien book where it is a lot to get through, and they keep introducing characters, and I'm like, that's really loud.
Sorry.
But I don't know who this character is or where this character is going, but apparently I need to care about them for the next minute or two.
Oh.
And then maybe I'll have to worry about them in a few more episodes. It's kind of where we're getting at with it, where there's just so many characters and you kind of need a playbook. So it feels very reminiscent of Game of Thrones versus House of the Dragon regarding that.
Gotcha.
There's just a lot to figure out what's going on. A lot of people that keep moving in. Oh, where were we? Luckily, those previously ons are really good at setting up the current episode you're in. And kind of jogging your memory, unless you're like me and had to start this episode 3 times. Just not the first episode of the series I had to do that for, but I will say once it got going and I was awake to watch, I was like, this is great.
You're
But
really
if you're not really awake, there's still a lot of this.
Not helping.
This
Not helping.
This boat's going here, and we're gonna watch the whole trip.
Do you remember that show Invincible that you had me watch?
Invincible.
The cartoon. Yes. Well, season 3 voice recordings are underway.
Okay.
Season 2 isn't out yet.
Well, they usually do voices like a year before because they got to do the voices to lock in the animation.
It's kind of delayed because of COVID and the animation studios and not being there, not being able to get there, and other stuff having to be done, and so that's kind of why that's been delayed right now.
And it was a great animation style.
I thought it was phenomenal. So I didn't know what to expect going into it, and I think we talked about it before with the amount of like big name actors in the one episode, for them all to not be needed the rest of the series was kind of like, wow.
Yeah, it was Kirkman was basically like, hey, have you ever been on Walking Dead? I need you in this episode.
Right.
There's another podcast that, when you finish Dark back catalog I've been listening to that digs deep into the world of voiceover actors.
Talkville?
No. That digs deep into the world of voiceover actors, and I've been listening to all these interviews with all of them and then recount like, I did all this work already and I can't talk about it for 3 years.
Right.
Because I already recorded the whole thing and now I got to wait till they announce it. And then once they announce it, it's still another year before I got to do press for it because it won't be out for another year. And the show gets all the big, like Diedrich Bader's on the recent one.
Right.
Which is great. They've had Tara Strong. They've had the guy that voices Elmer Fudd and the Looney Tunes people. Now they've had Fred Tatasciore. They've had.
Did he ever have Nolan North on?
Yeah. No, they haven't had Nolan yet. Ooh, my favorite voiceover actor.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
That is a good one. I mean, they've had Conroy on. Speaking of voiceover actors,
he's really good.
It has to be and I can't remember his name now. The guy that does the brain.
Oh, Pinky
and all the ones in
Futurama.
Yeah. But yeah, they've had a lot. They've had a lot of guys on there. I've been digging that a ton because a lot of the
Maurice LaMarche.
No, not at all.
That's
not
the
his
brain.
Name. Then that's not who I'm thinking of.
No, he's a Canadian voice actor.
Oh, I'm thinking Pinky then, not the brain.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they should be right next to each other on your IMDb.
I'm not in IMDb.
Oh. But they've been digging into that and
Rob Paulson.
There it is, Rob Paulson. Yeah. I think he's still my favorite right now. But they dig into all that and they've been going into because the host, the one was Kim Possible.
Okay.
Christy Carlson Romano.
Yeah.
And the other one is Will Friedle, who was Ron Possible, as well as the older brother on Boy Meets World.
Okay.
Who has now had a 25-year voice acting career. He's also Terry from Batman Beyond.
Oh, okay. I know who that
is. You'd see his credits and be like, why am I still scrolling?
Right.
Oh my God. How am I still scrolling through all these names? It's great. Yeah, I think Paulson, I like the ones that do a lot of different voices and sounds.
I like Mark Hamill too, as Dom pointed out. Mark Hamill is his favorite. I guess Lance Reddick kind of falls into that. He voices a character in a video game, so he's kind of. Mm-hmm. I really like him, but I interact with that character in a video game enough that it resonates more. Like
right.
What's his name? That's not in it anymore. Nathan Fillion was like one of the most popular characters in that game, and they killed him off. Spoiler alert! And his voice is still in the game in certain things.
Oh, nice.
Side note: Paul McCartney is on the soundtrack for the original Destiny video game.
Oh,
yeah.
Must have needed some cash with that.
Thanks, Tom. Speaking of delays, and not my delay in what I'm not watching, Ted Lasso season 3 is horribly delayed. Apparently, recent reports have stated that Ted Lasso season 3 is experiencing obstacles to completion for multiple reasons, including script and story changes, as well as location shoots and post-production delays. A lot of the script changes are coming straight from Jason Sudeikis, who keeps changing or rewriting and changing character arcs, none of which has to do with his ongoing drama with Olivia Wilde, I'm sure.
No, I'm sure it doesn't. So
No.
that's I saw a little bit about this. That's interesting though, because this is also the first year they where was I going with that?
I don't know.
The first year he's actually been like a showrunner.
Mm.
He was just an actor and co-creator the first 2
He
years.
doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
This year he's taken more of a role with the other two guys because the main one, the first 2 seasons, is off working on another show now.
Oh, he's not dating Olivia Wilde either.
No, but she and Harry are fine.
Apparently. I too also hope Avatar 2 shanks, but not because it caused Shazam to be pushed back, but because I'm sick of Avatar.
Look, I'm excited for another Christmas Shazam movie to come out in April.
Side note on the Avatar thing, but I did see an article, and I wasn't going to even mention this, but James Cameron was given a lot of advice from Fox Studios, from 20th Century Fox, a lot of notes about Avatar 2, about, cut down this flying chase scene, cut down this battle. And he said to them, hey, I wrote Titanic, and that paid for half of your movie studio lot. I can do what I want.
That's fair.
And they went, fair point. Continue. I also agree with Dom in a large sense. After Terminator 2, fuck James Cameron.
Wow. It's a long time ago.
It is. It is. I mean, that was the last thing I look, I've watched Titanic more than once, I'll admit.
So, yeah. So let's talk. What's next on your list there? You want to hit up some other things?
I have a couple little things. I mean, I have the Constantine thing.
Oh yeah, that's big news.
That's huge news, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Matt Ryan's coming back as Constantine. Oh, nope. Sorry.
He'll still do the voice everywhere.
Keanu's coming back as Constantine.
Yeah, I don't understand this move.
I don't get it either, because he was supposed to come back in Justice League After Dark, right? With J.J. Abrams originally.
Justice League Dark, you mean?
Justice League Dark.
Wow.
After Dark is the Pornhub version.
Yeah, I was going to say
Justice League. Sorry,
you got to search online. You can find that now, already available.
Yes, he was supposed to come back at Justice League Dark that J.J. Abrams was doing for HBO Max, and that got wiped out.
Yeah, I don't think Keanu's any bigger of a star than he was when the first Constantine movie came out, and that tanked then.
Yeah, I think they're banking on his John Wick fame right now, because he's not like, he's hot, but he's not like, I need to see him in everything hot. He's
but
a nice guy.
It's unless they completely decide to rewrite the Constantine character, there's not a lot of action in the Constantine story.
So, Keanu will reprise his role as John Constantine. They're not sure if they're going to get back the same guy that played the devil. Francis Lawrence, who went on to direct I Am Legend and The Hunger Games 2, is coming back to direct, who also directed the first one. The screenwriting will be done by Akiva Goldsman, who wrote A Beautiful Mind and Star Trek Picard. And he's going to produce through his company, along with J.J. Abrams, through Bad Robot, which is leading to a rumor that there is going to be a Justice League Dark again.
I don't buy any of that, because Warner Brothers won't even produce any of JJ's stuff. It's all under their umbrella, but they won't put any of it on HBO Max anymore. The
comment says, I'm pretty sure that DC/WB is running out of successful properties that aren't Batman.
So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I think the problem is they don't know how to treat anything that's not Batman, and all the things that would be popular if they just wouldn't try to make them into Batman would do really well. Like if you did a Superman movie where you didn't have him kill somebody at the end and even past how dark Batman gets, because Batman has his no killing policy, but you let Superman kill somebody right out the gate, like horrible. And you make all these movies like so dark and desolate, and I hope they don't do it with Blue Beetle. And the one that you didn't do though with Shazam was great, but then you let it sit for 3 years, and now your kids are all in college and have full-time jobs and don't have time to be running around being superheroes anymore, and you run into an issue with that. It goes back to the issue we keep talking about over and over as we keep getting these delays from movie theaters, and like your actors aren't getting any younger. Like I don't want to watch The Rock playing Black Adam at 60.
So speaking of delays and Sony,
oh yeah,
Karate Kid is set for June 7th, 2024.
Okay.
The next Karate Kid movie, no cast, synopsis, or anything. What that did was that pushed back one movie no one wants to see and a second movie I don't think anyone wants to see. Madam Web is delayed now from October 6th, 2023 to February 16th, 2024. So that's a Valentine's Day weekend opening Madam Web movie.
The cast intrigues me.
The cast is okay. Yes.
But again, that's in like a year and a half.
Right.
Like I don't even think they started filming yet. I don't know. And that shifted Craven from October 6th, 2023 back. I'm sorry. It shifted it from January 13th to October 6th next year. Yeah, that one I don't get either. Like, how much CGI do they have in this Craven movie that they need to push it for production stuff?
I don't know. And an untitled Sony/Marvel Universe movie has been dated for July 12th, 2024.
Could
that be Venom?
No, I bet that's your next Spider-Man movie.
Venom actually. Where's that message I got today?
2024. That would put it right in the middle of Phase 5.
Venom 3 is filming in summer of 2023. So that could put it out to 24.
It should be farther than that. If we want to talk about CGI, if you need more time to work on the CGI in Craven than you do Venom, just
maybe they're still working on the Aquaman CGI.
Yeah, by then probably they'll find a reason to push it back with that weird new tattoo that Jason Momoa got.
Hey, that's family.
Sure.
See what I did there?
I did. It's great. Speaking of family, House of Dragons. Oh,
we could go there next. There's a hell of an episode last night. Very talky episode, but a hell of an episode.
It was. What? Let's hit that stuff up. Let's leave Clerks 3 till the end, and we'll go spoilery on it. So if you did get a chance to see it, then stick around. If you didn't and you don't want anything spoiled for you, you can bounce then.
Do you want to breeze through the Emmy stuff first to get that out of the way?
I don't even know if we need to hit much of it. There wasn't a
really.
lot from our world.
No. Ted Lasso won.
White Lotus won a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
From a limited series run, which White Lotus, if you didn't watch it, was fantastic. Season 2 comes out in October.
Succession won again.
Yeah, I mean, you got to wonder where if the all the White Lotus love was because season 2 comes out in a month and HBO just bought it all.
Yeah, maybe.
Michael Keaton, Batman won for Dope Sick, which he absolutely deserved. Dope Sick, another one. If you didn't watch it, Dope Sick was heart-wrenching and so deep and crazy and just a fantastic series. Euphoria is on my list. I still got to watch Euphoria.
Hercules won as outstanding supporting actor in a comedy series. Hercules wins.
Kevin Sorbo?
No, Brett Goldstein.
Oh,
Hercules.
Oh, we don't talk about Love and Thunder. Which, did you see the latest Love and Thunder news?
No.
So the post credits, the final scene, which had Russell Crowe and Hercules there.
Yes. Oh, I did.
Was Taika was in L.A. while the
Yep.
other two were in London and Sydney,
Australia.
Australia.
Yep.
Yeah, and he remote directed the whole thing.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I guess it's crazy that that's the point that we're at now, though.
Yep.
Where we're just directing and cutting things together, shot all over the world.
Outstanding supporting actress in a drama series, Julia Garner won for Ozark again.
Well deserved.
Well
You're all
deserved.
caught up on Ozark, right?
Actually, I am. Yes. Yes. That's my
I figured
dog.
you probably still had the last couple episodes to watch.
I did. I went through it.
Just
I don't think
just
there's
to go
anything
back
else
because
for
I
us.
appreciate this comment from Dom. That knowing WB will find a way to make Batman the creator of the Scarab for Blue Beetle. It'll probably be the Flash. We'll find it, and it'll fall through the multiverse. That's my guess.
It might be
because it's coming out after Flash. They've been real quiet about the release date for it. So
they have. Chadwick Boseman did win for What If for outstanding character voiceover performance.
Yeah, which look, it wasn't even the strongest episodes of What If.
No,
but I appreciate them giving him an award.
Yeah, I totally like that. All right, where we go? Are we going House of Dragons now? We do have a Star Wars show coming out this week.
We do, and dropping a lot of episodes when it hits. From what I hear.
Isn't it?
I think it's 3.
Is it 3? Hold on, I'll tell you. I got
that I hear it's pretty quick.
So it's 12 episodes.
Oh, so many.
It's 12 episodes. Premieres September 21st at 12 a.m. First 3, you're right. Yes, first 3, and then the remaining episodes will be 1 a week on Wednesday.
I heard so as Star Wars shows tend to do, there's a reason they're dropping 3. It's because the first 2 aren't very good, is what I've heard.
Oh, jeez.
So
I'm kind of excited for this one.
Stick with it, everybody, and maybe you'll get there to when it starts getting interesting. I'm
kind of interested in this one.
Yeah. Look, well, I can't wait to see why Mon Mothma matters.
She's the
and how many more Jedis they managed to sneak into this series that shouldn't be there.
Oh, I don't think you're going to get any Jedi.
Oh, I bet you do.
No way. Unless you get Cal Kestis, but no, you shouldn't have Cal Kestis yet.
Bet you get Fulcrum. Oh, decisions, right? Because Fulcrum worked for the Rebellion.
Yeah.
So we'll see where we end up with that. Andor, yeah, I mean we'll definitely review Andor next week. We'll add it to our list, and Frank will watch that in between episodes of
House of the Rings,
Lord of the Amazon Prime. Wow, that's a good cut, Dylan. Excited for the prequel for the real Suicide Squad, referencing the Rogue One crew.
Yes,
and betting on a young Han Solo. Ooh.
I don't think they're going to do that. That would be interesting.
I think they're going to shy away from that after the Alden Ehrenreich movie that they brushed under the rug, which is still a shame. The kid was great in the role. And I would have definitely watched another Solo movie or two.
A couple of really quick Marvel things. I'm trying to pull up this picture of a possible. Here we go. We'll look at this in a minute. Miss Marvel season 2 reportedly confirmed at Disney Plus. Right? Oh, I would love to see her back, Dylan.
So Dylan says maybe Kira in that.
I would love to see her back.
I don't think you get her. That would have leaked.
So, two. I'm not going to go through this big one, but two real quick Iron Man. 2 quick Marvel things. One, like I said, Miss Marvel season 2 reportedly confirmed at Disney Plus. And do you know that back in 2005, New Line Cinema actually had the rights to Iron Man, right?
Okay.
Do you know why the rights reverted back to Marvel?
It's because
this is great.
Didn't make
New Line Cinema's founder Bob Shea let the Iron Man film rights go back because he didn't think the character made sense, as he thought he was too heavy to fly. That's it. That's the reason. How awesome is that?
I mean, as they showed in the beginning of the Iron Man movie, he was a little too heavy to fly.
He was. Yeah.
I bet that studio head also had not read an Iron Man comic book since like issue 5 when he streamlined the costume some.
Easily. Now I'm going to share a quick little thing here, little Ryan Reynolds thing, which is a possible huge teaser. So Blake Lively has been back on the Instagram lately, and she posted a bunch of pictures of herself pregnant because she was tired of the paparazzi like invading her space and trying to get pictures of her pregnant. So she went, here's a bunch of pictures of me pregnant, so you guys will leave me the F alone.
Yeah.
One of the pictures she posted is this picture I'm going to show you right here. Have you seen this yet?
I've not.
What could that be?
Could be a lot of things. He does a lot of movies.
He does, but that looks like a little bit of a familiar costume to me.
Does it?
That's a Deadpool costume. That's a Deadpool costume. Yeah.
I don't know.
A lot of duct tape on this one though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible that he's doing some stuff and he's just not telling anybody right now.
He could be. I mean, we're not going to get any more Marvel announcements till next year sometime. So
right,
which is a little crazy.
Is that from Deadpool? If that's from Deadpool 2, if that's from Deadpool 2, that's awesome. But I mean, it's possible.
He might just like to wear that around the house, or he may have been on his way to a
costume
cancer
party?
ward, because he does that
with a lot of duct tape.
Yeah.
All right.
So She-Hulk.
She-Hulk. Forgot about She-Hulk.
So, what'd you think of this episode?
Hold on, that's good. That would be interesting.
Oh, I don't know if I buy the Deadpool 3 is the non-name movie from them. I don't think you're getting Shang-Chi 2, but I don't know where you're going to reintroduce all these characters from the Eternals that are just hanging out that you're going to need for the Avengers movie. Otherwise, you don't have enough heroes.
Next week, I'm going to pull out a list of what's coming Marvel-wise. I'm not going to do that tonight because there's no point, and we do that a lot. She-Hulk, I enjoyed it. It seems like they're short, quick hitters right now. I enjoy the fact that there's a guy that makes the costumes. I thought that was kind of awesome. And I know that's a deep Marvel cut because I looked that up.
It's a weird spin
on a character, right?
No, it's a weird spin. No, just on the show to be like.
Well, she does need a costume, right? And it is, you got to wonder where all these costumes are coming from, especially if Tony Stark's not around anymore.
Yeah, but I didn't, because there's not that many people in costumes. Most of them are just wearing like tactical gear.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, they have grounded a lot of it. And the Daredevil tease at the end was pretty awesome.
It was a lot more questions than anything with that, because like, why is Matt Murdock in L.A. getting a costume made? He is firmly a Hell's Kitchen, but I guess you got to figure out how to pull that in to bring him onto the She-Hulk show that's based in L.A., right?
Right, unless she goes, yeah.
I enjoyed it. So because the pilot episode wasn't originally the pilot.
Oh, okay.
So the first episode, number 1, was actually meant to be shown way later in the season. It's just like a one-off and spin-in thing and like show what happened.
Gotcha.
And how she got there. But they moved it way up just because, it made more sense that I guess not enough people knew kind of the origin behind her. So they so all the shows are like 2-episode hits, right? Because if you notice with the Abomination stuff, all the stuff in episode 3 pulled back to episode 2.
Right.
This episode 5, all of this pulls back into her doing the dating in the last episode and all that, and you get the other ones. You had the Wong back and forth too, with the Abomination stuff, where then that pulled into the next episode. And you got your girl Madison. And then it ties in with this and the dating. I was a little confused that they did almost the exact same courtroom plot that they did in the B story last week.
Right.
Or 2 weeks ago, right? Where She-Hulk gets up and says how awful the guy is and what a narcissist he is. And then this is one with just a bunch of guys saying how narcissistic they are.
Yes.
That they didn't really, care that she was She-Hulk. It was very weird.
Yeah, it was.
To run that same plot point again. But I thought the B story was great. I enjoy getting to see Prometheus in a not quite so Prometheus-y role
Exactly.
and getting to actually have fun because I think
Yes.
we missed out on a lot of that. And
He was a little serious in the Arrow show.
yeah, but it's enjoyable so far. I mean, I'm liking where it's going. We'll keep going.
We only got a couple left of that one, right?
There's 4 episodes left,
Okay.
and just as a point that you enjoy, Frank.
Oh my God, it's so stupid.
Look, I think they acknowledged by putting it in that newspaper that we will get there at some point.
We need to get
with the giant celestial still.
We need to
sticking
get
out
there
of the
sooner than later.
So yeah, not a lot on She-Hulk. It's quick hits. It's not crazy. No end credit scene, which was disappointing.
No, I wanted more Larry.
But I feel like they could have done the tag for the end credits. Could have just been the last scene of the show instead.
Yeah, it could have.
Because you didn't need that. But I want to see the costume she got because she got not just suits.
Right, she got an actual superhero costume,
which is funny because for the most part, a lot of She-Hulk's career, it was just her in like a tank top, spandex, like onesie, like workout onesie,
right,
kind of thing. And then at one point there was this cool purple, which I bet she ends up in. It's this cool purple and white costume that they did for her at one point. I bet she ends up there, but most of the time she just wears normal clothes. Even in the series that John Byrne did, where she does a lot of the back and forth with the camera. And I like that they're not overusing the back and forth with the camera.
Yeah. I assume that they'll drop that next episode, most likely.
The costume? Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think that's when we're going to get... I
no,
assume
totally.
We'll get Matt Murdock next episode and then go from there.
Yeah.
So that was it for that. Let's hit up...
There's a lot. There was a decent amount that went on in this episode of House of the Dragon.
Yeah. Oh God, there's so many banners on the screen. I can't keep track.
There you go.
That's why you're that guy.
Did you enjoy the talkie episode?
I didn't find it that. I don't mind the episodes where like stuff happens and they move the storyline forward versus just big fight scenes. Because the fight scenes are fine, but like,
sure,
I'm not tuning into HBO for. I think. At least personally, I've gotten so desensitized to these big fight scenes and epic battles that like none of them impress me anymore, so I don't really care about them.
I'm impressed with the development of the characters as they go along, with the way that Matt Smith says very little on screen and takes over every scene that he shows up in for the most part. Just his presence and his mannerisms and his every tiny little move that he makes is massive,
yeah,
and ends up having these huge implications.
Well, we got him full force in Doctor Who, so anybody that watched Doctor Who knows how brilliant he is.
Yeah, I didn't.
But then he kind of went away for almost 10 years.
Right. Now he has no eyebrows.
Yeah. And a bad dye job still. And continues to look like he's 100 years older than he is.
So this episode is the last episode with the younger actors and actresses.
I know.
I'm
so annoyed.
They're going 10 years forward, starting with the next episode. A couple of little things that one or two of the things I actually picked up on and a couple I had to read up on was when Allison shows up to the wedding, she's wearing green. And the one guy leans over and makes a comment about when Old Town calls its banners the war.
Hightower.
Beacons. That's what I said.
You said Old Town.
When the beacon of Hightower glows green, when Old Town calls its banners the war. So she's wearing green, which is a huge sign that her interests are not lining up with her husband's.
Right. How did I miss that they were the Hightowers?
I don't know. How did you miss that?
I don't know. I didn't realize that they were, because we know where Lady Hightower ends up in.
Right.
In Game of Thrones. So I didn't realize that that family was the Hightowers. And is that where Otto went?
Otto, I would assume, went back to Old Town, but I don't. We'll find out.
Yeah. I mean, Lady Hightower is old enough; she could be alive in this series.
She could. She very well could. She very well could.
I liked the development in this one. I'm really annoyed we're losing the younger actors.
I am also.
And based on the sneak peeks for next week, I'm very confused by the time jump. So
it's a 10-year time jump. And one of the things that confuses me is that Viserys is like all kinds of messed up right now, like like
Yeah.
stumbling, bumbling, falling over, man, and he's aging up 10 years, and he looks remarkably better, if not just aged, from what we're seeing.
The 10-year shot? No, I mean he looks
old, but so Damon's wife dies in this episode, and he
which
now
Damon may or may not have caused on purpose.
I would almost assuredly say that he spooked the horse on purpose.
I don't think he did.
I think he did.
He didn't spook the horse though. She went to grab her bow.
I know, and he was walking up with his hand out, but now because they had no heirs, he's entitled to runestone. Like that's his right, his by rights now. I mean, she didn't help matters by yelling out to him that I always knew you couldn't finish. I mean,
so that means that he's going to be the Lord of the Vale.
Correct.
Right?
If he decides to take it, yes. He
Yeah.
should inherit Runestone Manor at this point.
Yeah, I think it's going to get I think the storyline is going to get very convoluted with the 10 years because 10 years is a long time.
Yes.
But it looks like the Aegon character that is going to be like in his late teens.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense because he should be like 12 in 10 years.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's all the time jump is, or if we time jump as we time jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we see a couple little ones.
I still don't understand why Kristen Cole killed the dude in the wedding. Like, I don't get the reasoning behind that.
To protect his secret, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean,
but then he was going to go kill himself because he was dishonored, and now people knew he was
right. You just beat a guy to a bloody pulp at a wedding reception. I mean,
yeah, I don't get where they were. That's the one where like, all right, so he's still going to be around in 10 years, and I'm supposed to buy that the queen has convinced him to stick around for another 10 years.
She might be using him in some way.
That doesn't track with what they've set up for the character, though.
It doesn't. Then you have the flash forward shows all of Rhaenyra's children have dark hair, and her husband isn't. Her babies don't match the father, is what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Saw that, which is again weird.
And the line that the queen says to the king about, once is one thing, but 3 times is a disgrace. And she has 3 kids. So she's definitely not getting the kids from her betrothed.
No, from her husband. They're married.
Right, that's what I mean.
But that doesn't. I mean, I don't know why that would be with her.
I know
based on
I know where the family tree kind of goes, because I've I read the books and I've seen some stuff online, and I'm not going to say, but the family tree definitely takes a little bit of a turn coming up. But I'm interested to see how the handoff to the older characters is going to play out. And while they're all very accomplished actors and actresses, I think we could have done the whole season with these characters and then age them up for season 2.
Well, I don't think you needed to the 2 girls playing Alicent and Rhaenyra. I don't think you needed to. You could go another 10 years and not age them.
You could,
because the actresses are going into, at least the one for Rhaenyra, looks much more than 10 years older.
Yeah.
Because they're supposed to be 16 now. I mean, you could buy they're in their mid-20s, right? If you age them up with makeup and stuff like that, like I don't know how they're going to age Daemon 10 years.
The girl playing
because they definitely didn't make Matt Smith look any younger.
No, the girl playing Rhaenyra is 22.
Right.
And,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they
and the other one's 19.
Yeah.
Allison's 19, and now Emma D'Arcy, who's going to be playing her, is 30, and Olivia Cook is 28.
Yeah, so all right, so they went with actresses literally 10 years older.
Yeah, basically.
It's fine, we'll see. They had to do it to have all these kids get born and make it super complicated. So I guess this was the prequel, and now we'll get into the real story.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens next week. We only have 4 episodes left of this too, right?
No, there's 5.
Five
This
of
was
this.
episode 5.
Gotcha. Okay. And then the last thing we have is Clerks, right?
Yeah, a little Clerks 3 action. So we went and saw the Fathom screening on Tuesday. We got to have Kevin Smith give us the Kevin Smith spiel of, hey, thanks for coming to see my movie. Appreciate it. Let's move this. Let's take this off the screen first.
Yes, just as other spoilers. So if you haven't seen Clerks 3, if you have any intention of seeing Clerks 3, we're probably going to talk about everything that happened in Clerks 3, and there's definitely a couple of spoilers. So I would dip out now and come back after you see Clerks 3. The podcast will be up for viewing on YouTube right after the show. And it will be up as a podcast in a day or 2 or 7 or 10 or 12.
Yeah, eventually. Which, hey, if you missed any of the last few episodes, you can catch it there. And before we do hop into this, hey, thanks to all of you guys for watching and finding the Geek Spot with us. Appreciate you all being around the last 69 episodes. Hope you're here for at least 69 more. So the Clerks piece, we it's Kevin Smith has been very vocal about how his life's gone the last few years and the heart attack he had a few years ago, and definitely pulled from real life for some of this storyline. And how it started, I was like, oh, I already know all these jokes because Kevin Smith has told them all 100 times since he started telling his heart attack story.
Yes.
And I really thought that was where the movie was going to go and end and just be that, right? Like, I had a heart attack, now I'm going to make the movie. And it didn't. I think it was the best writing Kevin Smith has done in 20 years, easily. Because it still hit all of like the dick and fart jokes and all those things that you want out of Kevin Smith, and that like the whole movie theater laughed out loud multiple times.
Yep.
At the evolution of one of the characters evolves from being a diehard Christian into a diehard Satanist. And it totally tracks. You're like, oh, that makes sense.
I think Elias had one of the best little arcs in the movie, and was sensational.
Yeah, and every time you see him, he gets a little more goth or a little more Marilyn Manson. Like it's great. And every time it's more ridiculous, and nobody ever says anything.
No, nobody commented on it once the entire show.
It's fantastic. It's great.
Yeah.
So you have that. You have Dante and Randall back, which was great to see them. I mean, knowing how young they were when they made the first movie, knowing that their ages aren't a whole lot different than us, makes me feel really old.
Yep.
However, and I was saying this to Frank before we started tonight, makes me realize how many things we've missed that these guys could have acted in.
Yeah.
Specifically Brian O'Halloran. He does a lot of heavy lifting in this.
Yeah, he does.
Where it really brings full circle the story of Dante and Randall and throughout life and their journey together. And I think this movie started off kind of like some of Kevin Smith's just stuff in general. It was kind of weak, and I was like, all right, whatever. And then it just kept going and getting deeper, and the story kept getting more complex and digging in, and you just got sucked in. And it was one of those, by the end, you were like, oh, yeah, this happens to guys our age and around our age.
Yeah.
And like was deep where it cut some of the spots. But so spoiler with that, it's if you watch Clerks 2 and you saw at the end, Dante seems like it's going to be happily ever after for him. And then you realize that it's in this movie it is just Dante and Randall. So things did not go his way.
No.
And you get to deal with that in this movie, which makes for some, when Rosario Dawson pops in, you really get to see that next step of acting, though. And watching her play against anybody in general is usually like, wow, she's really good. But seeing her in this makes you truly appreciate what an amazing talent Rosario Dawson is.
Yeah, she pulled some real good depth out of
it's
Brian
natural.
O'Halloran.
And just when she walks in, you're just like, oh, and it just feels so
Yeah,
like she's so in the character, and you're like, man, this guy's been playing Dante for like 40 years, and it's like you could tell he's working, but like
I
she just comes in and is just naturally in that role.
I low key got a little choked up at least 3 different times during that movie. It really, really like a lot of people keep asking me how is Clerks, and I'm saying without spoiling it, and I got choked up a little bit here and there. Like and they're like, from a Kevin Smith movie, yeah, from a Kevin Smith movie, like he really nailed this one.
And if you think back, like to Chasing Amy had some like gut check moments.
Yeah, it did.
You know, Dogma. It was more comedy and more out there, but still like really
Sure.
kind of went deep in some spots. And Mallrats, same thing. Like, you know, from a teen angsty standpoint, like Kevin Smith's always had it. Most people didn't see Red State, which was great until the third act just got totally lost.
Yeah.
Um, and even Tusk is like a really heartfelt, like dark, twisted movie where he pulls on some crazy strings and things like that. By the way, sequel to Tusk is in the works.
Yeah. Moose Jaw or Moose.
No,
Moose Tracks?
sequel to Tusk.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Not the conclusion of the Great White North trilogy. A legit sequel to Tusk is in the works and coming out.
One of the other things I really like about his movies, and it's funny because people knock Adam Sandler for casting his friends in the movies because his friends are all famous people.
Yeah.
His friends are all like the David Spade and Chris Rock and you know, people like that. But Kevin Smith cast so many friends and family in the original Clerks because he didn't have the budget to cast real actors and actresses, and they almost all come back and make a cameo in this.
Yeah, and they talk about that. The nice thing with seeing a Fathom, they gave us the documentary at the end real quick.
Yeah.
Like, making up. And they were like, the people that we pulled in from the neighborhood came back to play them in the Randall movie that's getting filmed. You know, and it ends up, you know, Silent Bob ends up the director of photography, which is brilliant.
Which is hilarious.
Right?
It's
and it gives Kevin Smith a chance to talk and be, you know, when Silent Bob says his speech and you're like, oh, I better listen to this. Like he gets to go in and do it. It's great. I mean, Jay Muse, I don't know what he had done to his teeth.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that after the thing. His teeth looked they were a little oof. I mean, maybe he got veneers or something, but it's a lot.
Get rid of all that meth teeth.
Some of the cameos, Fred Armisen, the Impractical Jokers.
Yeah, all of that. And you know, and not counting the very beginning. So we start with the hockey league up on the roof.
Which is all the people from the first one. Right.
Well, no, it's all the people that inspired the movie, right? So it's Brian Johnson and Walt Flanagan and Ming Chen, Mike Zapsik. They're all playing hockey, along with the guy that runs Smodcastle Forum in Jersey now,
right?
And a bunch of other people that were in the neighborhood and stuff like that. He cast them all in that, and I think there's more people in the hockey scene because he's talked about it on Batman Beyond before.
I think there are,
but I mean the character of Dante is Brian Johnson,
right?
You know, because it was Brian Johnson and Kevin that worked in the convenience store.
Yeah. Scott Mosier popped in.
He was in the cameo. No, he popped into the
popped into the convenience store.
Yeah.
Ralph Garman, obviously, he's going to put Ralph in pretty much.
And the cameo scene. So during there's this stretch where they're auditioning people for roles in the movie,
right?
And you get Ralph, you get, like you said, Fred Armisen. You get Affleck, who's amazing.
Affleck was great. He probably just said, "You just be a Boston guy and just go, just do whatever.
Pretend you don't live in LA anymore." Okay.
You got Chris Wood,
who was great,
who's married to Melissa I never say her name right.
Benoist,
who looks really hot with dark hair.
Yeah, she's out of her blonde Supergirl face. And the two of them, you know, well, at least she was in Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Yes,
because she played
Cockknocker, Blunt Man. She played Blunt Man. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you had her plus Kevin Smith was at their wedding because they met when he was doing his stint on Supergirl, and they got together then. So he's been a friend of theirs forever.
He officiated it.
And Chris Woods is He-Man.
Yes. And he did a He-Man.
Such a great joke.
He did a He-Man joke. And they both were like theater actors trying to sing. Sarah Michelle Gellar. who isn't really on screen much anymore.
No, she's starting to do things again.
She is.
Their kids got old enough.
And then Freddie Prinze Jr. comes on as Freddie Prinze Jr., which was hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Michael Chiklis was in it. I completely missed that was him.
Yeah.
Really?
All right. Well, I mean, I'll buy it the minute it comes out. So
Michael Chiklis was reading for the role of Jay, where he says, "I'll fuck anything that moves." That was Michael Chiklis. I didn't realize it because he slimmed down.
Does he have hair now too?
I guess a wig.
Maybe.
The Chulies guy was back.
Yeah,
they had him pop in. Anthony Michael Hall. That's a weird one too.
Yeah, it was great.
But apparently they're really good friends. And his Fat Man Beyond host.
Well, so Mark played a character, Luther. I think it's Luther.
Luther. It is Luther.
Who was in the Clerks the
I'm
animated
sorry, Lando.
Series. Lando, who's from I think Clerks the animated series.
Right.
So they cast and still didn't give him any speaking role, so they don't have to pay him.
No.
But he made it in the trailer too, so good for Mark.
Yeah, Jay's wife and his kid, which was,
Yeah, Jordan was in there. That was a neat cameo for Jordan.
Danny Trejo was in there. That was awesome.
Oh, I forgot about that too. Yeah. And you know what? And he didn't overuse Harley.
No. She was perfect. And it wasn't
popped in towards the end.
Amy Sedaris as the doctor was great.
So that was when I was concerned about the movie, because a lot of the lines she used are the same ones that he's told 100 times when he recounts his heart attack in the doctor's room. Like, but you literally just wrote down the story you told on all of your podcasts 37 times.
Yes. His mom was in the movie. And
her cameo was great too.
Justin Long, obviously. And Ethan Suplee, that guy just looks amazing.
Yeah, and he's been back in shape for a while. But yeah, that was
before we go, when I went into it, when I saw the reboot movie was good, but I kind of left it like, this was okay, I guess. This movie was so good. I'd watch this one again in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I said, it touched all sorts of spots that you don't necessarily expect from a Kevin Smith movie unless you're a real Kevin Smith fan. If you're a casual Kevin Smith fan, you'll be like, oh, well, this movie's it's whatever, it's just coming to other Kevin. But he digs in there and gives you it happened once in Reboot 2.
Right.
As if you've grown up a Kevin Smith fan and just grown up, right? Since all of these things are in your childhood, and when you're younger and you've grown as these actors have aged and gotten older and gone through life experiences, and Kevin Smith has, you saw at the end of Reboot the scene with Ben Affleck that was like incredibly heartfelt, and like you're like, oh my god, like I'm getting to watch these guys grow up too.
Yeah.
And like they're at a different point in their life, just like I am. Wow, you don't see that.
Yep.
Because you don't see characters revisit every 15, 20, 30 years now, right? And the way he did that at the end of this, and just being like pulling parallels to people that we don't have around anymore, and things like that, as you go through and being like, oof, like I've been there, I know what that feels like. It's awful.
Absolutely.
And the way he pulls at those strings through it is, I'm really excited to see the reaction of this and what opportunities Kevin gets going forward to be able to do some more writing that's not just comic book stuff.
Yeah, I hope he gets a bigger chance at stuff.
Yeah, because he kind of got screwed after Cop Out and Zack and Miri. He kind of got shoved to the side,
big time.
And I don't think any of that was his fault.
No,
and the soundtrack too for this movie was amazing.
Yeah, this is a really good soundtrack.
So
it probably
more New Jersey songs than I ever knew existed.
Probably cost a couple dollars.
Yeah, but but I bet some of them might have cut him a little bit of a deal. I bet My Chemical Romance was like, I bet honestly they would have been like, yeah, just give it to Kev, that's fine. Yeah. Gerard Butler or Gerard Way probably said that.
Yeah,
Gerard Butler would have been weird if he was.
It would have been a little weird.
But anyway, anybody that stuck around, thank you.
Yes.
For listening to this. If not, and you're listening to this on the podcast, drop us a line, drop us a review. Let us know what you think. Let us know your thoughts on Clerk 3. You can find us at I'm at Jack Kid Music on the Instas, and Frank is at Gimzak on the Twitters and the Instagrams. So we got to thank you for finding the geek spot, and we will see you all next week.
Yeah, man. Go Birds.